So most of you know the American Chemical Society. I won't bore you with all the details. If you're not familiar, you can take a look here. Just a tidbit or two. We were founded initially as part of New York University, as part of the College of Pharmacy. And we were congressionally chartered in, I'm going to check my notes here, congressionally chartered in 1937. Some more information about ACS. Again, we publish 42 peer-reviewed journals. Our newest journal is the ACS Journal of Sustainable Chemistry and Engineering, launched earlier this year. We continue to look at publishing new journals pretty regularly. We have already reached over a million articles on our platform, and that's journal articles, in addition to our book content, in addition to our chemical engineering and news content that we have on the site as well. We host the archives for that news data. And in 2010, we launched our first mobile app. We launched it knowing that we were looking for something a little different than what you might expect from a current mobile app. We weren't looking to replicate the experience of reading our articles on the 3x5 device that we all carry around in our pockets. We were looking for a way to help meet the need of those who were looking for new information. As Chris talked about, a lot of their usage is driven by folks who are coming back looking for the latest articles on the platform, and so that was where we wanted to focus our energies for our app as well. So when we were planning our app and what we were going to be doing there, we did 2 comprehensive user studies. You can see we were looking for information primarily from those who are regular users of our site, and that did show itself in the data that we found. You can see that most of the people who were using our site, and this is our main website, were coming back, 75% of them, either daily or weekly, to look for new content. Most of them were doing that by looking through table of contents. They were coming back regularly and checking for a new issue. They might come back when they get a new issue alert, or they might be checking their RSS feeds. They were coming back to try to find that new content. So as we started to think about what we were going to design into our mobile platform, we had a few areas that we really wanted to focus on. First of all was the growth in our abstract usage data. The reality was that a lot of people were starting to access more of that content. We had more traffic coming in from Google and from other places. So we had already noticed that there was quite a level of growth in the folks who were coming to view our abstracts. We had also seen, based on a number of changes, that the peak usage was shifting away from articles when they were published being part of a journal or sent to print, and starting to move towards the time when we first started putting them up online. We call them ASAPs, as soon as publishable. And also knowing that the level of content was growing at an exponential rate. The number of articles available has been going up at that rate for some time, and the level of time that folks are able to spend with that content has been steadily shrinking. So taking a look here, you can see again our thinking in 2008-2009 timeframe as we were starting to plan this. We had just had a 72% year-over-year increase in the number of folks, or the number of accesses to our abstracts. And that trend has continued to meet itself out. Even looking up to some of our most recent data, we continue to see trends showing a real increase in the number of abstracts viewed. And we'd also made some changes to our abstract pages. We had started implementing abstract images, and we hear from our customers, our users, our readers, that the abstract images are a big part of how they determine whether an article is something that they'd like to read. So we've placed these abstract images at the tops of most of our journals. At this point, I believe they're on the top of all of our journal article pages, and it gives you some insights into what the article is going to be about. And you can see this is a view of some of our full text. It takes up quite a bit of prominent space there, and it's really something that people look for as they come to our site. So trend 2, the notion of usage and when people want to read these articles. The first chart you're looking at here is taking a look at early on when we had started to publish some of our articles before cutting an actual issue. You could see that there was a spike at that time of first publication, and then it would die off a little bit until you hit that major peak at the time of creating an issue. And as early as 2008, we can see that trend has shifted towards the time of first publication online. And while there is still a spike at the time of issue creation, it trends off a bit. And the latest numbers show that that actually has continued to become more prominent of a switch. So trend 3 here being that our researchers are following more of our content. We, of course, are publishing more content ourselves as well. But not only are our researchers coming to look for one article, they may have one journal that they focus their energies on, but over half of them are also coming to check out our flagship journal, the Journal of the American Chemical Society, as well as our chemical reviews, just to keep up with what's going on in the industry more broadly. So with our mobile app, we were really looking to hit an opportunity of time. We knew that we were going to be targeting folks who were commuting, and sometimes we're looking to use their downtime of 5 to 10 minutes when they're waiting to catch a train, or hopefully not while they're driving and drinking coffee at the same time. We didn't specifically have Hillary in mind, but there are a lot of folks who need to just catch up when they're in between important events. And again, we knew we were developing for a different type of device and for a different era of access to content. So as others have talked about, this notion that they're going to be able to just put the content up there and everyone will engage with it in the same way that they did on their desktop, we knew that other trends were getting in the way of that type of experience. And this is taking a look at the Carol Tenopir and Donald King article showing the changes in trends. You can see quite striking in 1977. The number of the number of articles that people are reading has nearly doubled as of 2005, and the time spent has decreased by about 50% as time spent on an article. So a little bit about ACS Mobile. You can see some views of what we're doing here, but the idea is that all of our journal content is available through this mobile app. And as noted before, you don't need to update the app. It updates using the web pages already, using your Wi-Fi or 3G connection. And you're able to easily skim through articles. You're actually able to go through either in a TOC context, or you can check off the journals that you are interested in and get a feed of just those journals. We targeted this primarily around the ASAPs, the articles as soon as publishable concept. So we're not waiting for issue publication. We are getting them up there as soon as possible. You also get a little note on your icon, the little red number that sits next to your icon telling you how many new updates you have. So it's very easy to stay current without having to go and constantly be checking the app. And this is taking a look at our abstract views through the mobile app. You can see we've surpassed 120,000 abstract views per month. And we're still growing quite steadily. Our first version was launched in 2010, early in the spring of 2010, and our Android version was launched a short while later, about a year later, in March of 2011. You can see we had a nice little bump there as well. At the time, we were charging for both the Android and the iOS app. We have since, as of February of last year, made it freely available, and you can see we had a nice jump there and a continuing of our upward trend in abstract views. You can get access to the full text here as well. I should note, while we focused our energies on the app around abstract views, anyone who does have access to these articles, whether through their own personal subscription or through a campus subscription, can use the same means that they would to access it via their desktop. We do encourage it, but we knew that the focus of the app would really be around those abstract views. We do, I should note, have an iPad tablet version as well, so that kind of ties in. We didn't break out any of the numbers here by Android versus iOS. iOS is still our prominent platform, and we haven't, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head of tablet versus phone, but we know that we have we've done quite a bit of updating of those platforms as we've gone along and as they've changed as well. One second, almost wrapped up for questions. So I'm just going to show you here for the end some trend lines. This is actually taken from Mary Meeker's presentation at D11, just down the road, not too long ago. And the notion here being how much time are people spending on their phones for internet access versus on their desktop. And the trend line suggests that at the end of next year, 1 out of every 3 network sessions will be on a phone versus on a desktop. You can see how much that has changed just since the 0.9% in 2008. And last thought to leave you with here is that in 1999, young people and others experienced their concerts via dancing, and nowadays they oftentimes experience their concerts via mobile devices, holding them up in the air. I've seen a few people taking pictures here and there as well. I appreciate that rock star treatment. But this is definitely a changing world. Question?